We all love my Read It or Unhaul It challenge, and it is time for me to do a recap for 2025 in order to continue in 2026. Did I already post a video in 2026? Yes, I did, but I've also decided I refuse to stress about anything this year, so it will have to do. Last year, we started the year with 452 unread books in this ridiculously giant jar. And throughout the year, I did 7 videos of Read It or Unhaul It, which is less than usual, but I had a horrible year health-wise. There was actually another one that never made it, which we'll talk about. So we have to start, because this video is in 3 parts, I have to start by making sure all the papers are in here to have the amount that I actually read during the challenge or unhauled. And then after that, we have to do the second step, which is to remove all the books that I read not during the challenge from books I already owned. And then we have to add all the books that I bought in 2025 that I also did not read in 2025. So we have a new starting number for 2026, minus the 3 that we did in the first video. But again, it doesn't matter. So let's do our little recap. So step 1, how many books did I read or unhaul during the challenge? So I said I did 8 video, 7 went up. The first one, I read 2 books and I kept both of them. Actually, they were both good. And then the next 2, I forgot I did 2 of them. I did an extreme edition, which, you know what, I think I need to do again in 2026. I basically picked myself the books on my shelf, mostly YA fantasy and a few dystopians that I had a feeling I wasn't going to want to read all of them completely and want to clean them up, but I don't like to get rid of books without trying them, so I did that in the videos, and it was very fun. Some of them I made decisions after 1 chapter, some of them I read half the book, and there's one of them actually that I did finish. But in these 2 videos, we went through 9 books, so that was very efficient. However, because I didn't pick them from the jar, I just wrote them down on green papers, all of them, even though some of them should have been blue. So I need to correct that later, but you know, it's there. The next book, I finished 2 books. One of them was a hate read that made it to my worst books of the year. And then the next one, I unhauled one before finishing it, and the other one I did finish and like. And then the next one, same thing, one that I unhauled and one that I finished and liked. The next one went well. It's nice to get around to reading books that would have been on my shelf for years otherwise. The one that didn't go up, we're going to talk about it super quickly just to give you quick reviews because I never did. The first book I picked up, they were all red papers because fall I wanted to read mystery thriller horror. So I read, or attempted to read, Sign Here, which is set in hell. This was my 4th book actually last year, that was set in hell, which definitely a pattern, but was happy about it. Because we're following someone working corporate in hell, which was like, brilliant, I want to read that. But unfortunately, pretty quickly, there's a love interest that is introduced and I lost complete interest, so I put it down, which is good because the next book I read, The Violent Conspiracy, made it to my best books of the year. So this is, again, another proof that I need to learn to put down books when I'm not enjoying them, because I am wasting time that could be spent on finding more books that I will love. So definitely need to do that. And then Abandoned by Blake Crouch. This was the last book that I owned by him on my shelf, and I couldn't finish it either. I feel like I have such mixed feelings about his books, but this was just not something I was feeling, so I moved on. So in total, I should have 22 books in here, which again, we're going to go through the big jar and fix it to make sure it's real, but throughout the challenge in 2025, I read and or unhauled 22 books, which not too bad considering I only did 8 videos. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, unfortunately, I need to go through the whole jar, so let's get ready. We're gonna sit on the rug and do it properly.
Pick a movie, I'll pick you up, we'll go eat sushi, or we'll go downtown. With our best moves we can boogie. Oh, my, oh my, we both look so fly, like sweet apple pie. Yeah, they want a piece of us.
I'm glad I'm doing this video only once a year because my gosh. So there are 2 that I'm pretty sure I read the previous year. It just stayed in the jar accidentally. Listen, there will be mistakes in this challenge. That's too many books. So I also made a mistake when rewatching the vlogs quickly. I forgot one. So the actual official number for read or unhauled books during the challenge is 23. Okay. And then not during the challenge, I read and or unhaul 28 more books. So I didn't calculate it. That's what, 51? Let me tell you, going through the whole jar to pick up the books that I read made me feel like I didn't read anything. Like, I know I didn't read as many books as usual this year. I think I finished like 80 something, which is like 20 less than usual because, again, crappy year. But I'm happy with the final number. If it's 51, that's good. But yeah, going through the whole jar just to pick up like 28 papers was, plus the one I forgot, plus the two that were from the previous year. But still, it was a lot because you know what number we are at now? We're at 398 books on my shelf. That was way too long to count. So yeah, we started the year with 352. I don't know if the numbers make sense, but that's the number I have. So it will have to do. Listen, I've accepted a long time ago that there will be a margin for errors and with this challenge, because again, counting 398 was too much for me. So that is the number at the end of step 2. So now we have step 3. I have to add all the ones that I read and didn't read in 2025, which I've already went through all my haul videos. So I'm going to put you on the screen quickly, the numbers, just to see, do I read the books that I buy? I feel like that's the point of this whole section. Because there is this idea that, you know, on Booktube or just book people in general, there's a lot of hoarding and like overconsumption, which I'm not saying isn't true. I know a lot of people also think that with books, it doesn't mean anything. I do shop a lot of like used books, so I don't really feel bad. I have the space. I build this whole library for the sake of it. There's plenty of empty spots, so I'm not stressed about it. But it's still interesting to see if I do read the books that I bought the same year, like as soon as I get them. I feel like in 2026, I'm already doing good. Which, by the way, that was also weird to go through the jar and not confuse the books that I've read already in 2026 because they don't count for this challenge right now. That's why I need to do it on time. Anyway, again, no stress. No stress allowed. So in 2025, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 book hauls. Really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. Yeah, 6.5 book hauls. I say half because one of them was a mini one that I did during a vlog, so whatever. So the first one was in January and I bought 10 books and there was one I had already read. I just wanted to own it. And then one that I have read since then. So not amazing actually compared to the other ones, but it is what it is. In March, that was the mini one. I bought 3 and I have read and or unhaul 2. So there's that. In April, I bought 11 books and I have read 6 of them, which I'm okay with. That's pretty good. Bit more than 50%. In June, I bought 10 books and I read 3. There is one that I read in 2026, but again, it doesn't count. So the number is 3. In August, I bought 15 and I read 4 since then. In September, I bought 14 and I have read 8. I feel that's pretty good considering it's the end of the year. I didn't have that much time to read them. And then finally, October, I bought 14 and I read 3. So it means that in total in 2025, I bought 77 books. And out of those, I read 28 again that same year. So that's 36%, which I don't think that's that bad considering that it wasn't a challenge at all throughout the year to actually read them as soon as possible. So not too bad. And just for fun, in 2025, I did do an unhaul video. So I got rid of 37 books that I had on my shelves. So does that mean that I have 40 more books? That I have 40 more books on my shelf now that I did last year? Whatever. People that like maths can have fun with those numbers. Clearly, it's already too much for me today. So I'm not done though. We need to actually write those down on papers so I can actually be ready. So these 2, wrong year. This is all the books that I read on haul in 2025 that I own a physical book. I also use my library a lot, so those books don't count here. Now, 398. Let's get my paper and write down the, how many did I say? 28 minus the 77, so like the 49 books. Okay, let's do that.
We drive on by, they just can't deny it. They wanna be like us. Na 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 na. We are goofy, playing tag in the jacuzzi.
Okay, so actually the number of books that will go in there is 48 because one of them is part of a series and I only use one book in there to represent a series. So like if there's a 10 book series, I'm not having 10 books in there, right? So 48. Let me just get my scissors. I should have shown you. Fantasy, I only added a couple. There's only a couple sci-fi. There's a ton of What is Pink, which used to be my least read genre, and now it's my most purchased, but not yet read, so maybe it's not that good of a sign. For like, not classics, historical fiction, romance, contemporary literary fiction. I've been wanting to read more of them because I have been enjoying them. There's only a couple nonfiction, a couple classics, and then a couple mystery thrillers. So yeah, I'm realizing I bought more. I did read more, but there's a ton more unread. I feel like over the years, we're going to see how much I buy of each genre. I feel like this year so far in 2026, I have bought a lot of nonfiction, but I've read a lot of nonfiction too. So we'll see how the jar changes. I feel like I've been really good at trying to declutter all of my fantasy. I need to do the same with sci-fi. Like either at this point you read them or you get rid of them because it's been a couple of years. Like get it together. I mean, I don't like to get rid of things without giving them a shot. But a couple extreme editions might be something I need to do in 2026. So we now have our official jar for 2026. I'm starting the year with 446, but I can't forget the 3 that I've already read. So we're starting the year with 449, which is 3 less than last year. I really wasn't expecting that because I feel like last year did not go well. I wasn't able to do as many videos as I wanted, but that also means I guess I didn't shop as much. So we're starting 2026 with 3 less, which is fine by me. Honestly, I don't really have a goal to get to 0 because I always want to have books on my shelves, but I do want to probably try as much as possible to do some decluttering. I think maybe we need to do some extreme edition all over again because I feel like my sci-fi especially is looking pretty terrifying. So I haven't been reading that much too, so they need to go if I'm not going to read them. Also, can't forget all of these, so the 51. Too many numbers. It's been like 3 hours of this. My battery's dying. So 51 books that I read and or unhauled in 2025. They have to go. And now I'm going to put the 3 from my first official Read It, Unhaul It of 2026. So the first one I unhauled and then the next 2 I read. So 449 minus 3. That means that in the big jar, we are now down to 446. There you go. The numbers work. We're good. That's it. I'm done with math for next year. I will see you in my next Read It and Haul It. Should it be an extreme edition? You tell me.